Hi friends, it's Elise, and today we are going to be starting a witchy reading vlog. In this vlog, I do read 3 different witchy books. First up is the Ex Hex by Erin Sterling. Then I go on to The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. And finally, I wrap it up with The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. Okay, let's get started. I'm about 70 pages into the Ex Hex. This is a witchy rom-com, and the book starts out with Vivian. She's a witch, and apparently this guy that she'd been dating for a few months, who was also a witch, but he was from Wales. He was like studying abroad for the summer where they're at in Georgia, I believe. They started having a romance, and apparently his family of witches do betrothals, so basically an arranged marriage. He was betrothed to somebody, but because he and Vivian started seeing each other and he was liking her, he had to go back to Wales to end the betrothal. Well, when he told Vivian about this, she did not take it very well, which, okay, first of all, at the time, she's like 19 years old, so she's young. She's very young. When you're that age, your scope of the world is just much smaller, more likely to overreact about things. I personally would be kind of happy. I mean, not happy that that was kept from me, but happy that obviously things are going well. He wants to end that betrothal to be with you. I don't know. I thought that was kind of silly. But anyways, she got really upset, and she and her cousin, who's also a witch, decided to kind of, but not really, curse him. I don't think they intended to go through with it, but it did happen. So he's cursed now, and that's like in the prologue. So now it's 9 years later. Reese is the Welsh witch. That's kind of a tongue twister. All genders of these magical people are called witches. They don't use the term warlocks anymore. Reese's family is deeply rooted in the history of the town that Vivian lives in Georgia. They explained it. I don't really remember the details of it. But anyways, every like 60 years or something like that, somebody from that family, the Penhallow family, has to come there and like confirm or like reinvigorate the magic of the town and the ley lines and things like that. So this is that year, and Reese's father sends him to go back there. We're kind of at the point now where they run into each other. It's very like cutesy, whimsical. Nothing really major has happened for being 70 pages in. It's a fairly short book, and I am listening to it on audio as well, just to stay on track, get through it as quick as possible. I am more excited to get to the other 2 books in this vlog. I wanted to have like a more lighthearted, cutesy read be part of this. Hello. I've got the dishwasher going. Today I had to run some errands. I had to get some groceries, drop some books off to the post office that I was shipping out, and while I was doing all that, I popped in my earbuds to continue listening to the audiobook for the Ex Hex. I am just over 200 pages now, and I'm not really liking it. It's fine, it's spoopy, it's cute, definitely fall vibes, Halloween vibes, but we're kind of at a point where, because of the curse that is on Reese, things around town are kind of like crap's hitting the fan, you know? They are like running around town trying to like put out all the fires, not literal fires. Things keep happening. Like the magic system is going haywire. And because it's a romance, I'm not a fan of smut in romance because it's too, like, they try too hard. I prefer the smut. I don't even want to call it smut. I prefer the spicy scenes better in like romances or thrillers, because I think in romances they're too spicy. It's cringe. That's the word for it. It's cringe. I don't like listening to it. It's like, oh. It's a beautiful day. We've had like pretty chilly weather the past week, but today it's like upper 50s and the sun keeps peeking out, so it's nice and bright out. I think I have like an hour left on the audiobook. Another thing, so Reese is Welsh, right? The narrator is not speaking with a Welsh accent, so that's a complete missed opportunity. And he's speaking, like, there are things, like he says shite and he says da instead of dad. I'm gonna go finish this book. I'm not super thrilled about it. It's probably going to be a 3, maybe even a 2, depending on how it ends. Hello. I finished the Ex Hex, but I'm going to tell you about it while I'm putting this on our TV. They're the music sync light strip. And don't mind the mess behind me. I'm like cleaning right now, so everything is a total mess. Oh my gosh, this is killing my knees. Is that better? I think so. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff on that table, just you don't see it. Pretend it's not there. Okay. Unfortunately, the book didn't really get any better as far as my liking it. Like, it's a fine book. If you are looking for like a spoopy, good time, fall vibes with witchy vibes, with Halloween vibes, then I think this would be a good book for you. I'm very picky when it comes to romance. I like there to be a little bit more plot. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's plot in this book. There's like a whole, you know, curse thing happening and having to break the curse. And that is all fine and dandy. As far as the romance portion actually goes, is this not gonna go around the entire television? Well, apparently my TV is too big for the tape to go all the way around it. So that's kind of irritating. I like my romances to have a little bit more substance. The Ex Hex, there's not much to it. For me personally, it was just a little too lighthearted, a little too light and fun. Now, what am I going to rate it? The Ex Hex is 2 stars. I'm not gonna read The Kiss Curse, so I have 2 more books to read for this vlog. I'm gonna read The Year of the Witching next. I think probably because it's a little bit darker. I'm just over 50 pages in The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I don't know what I'm thinking about it so far. It's kind of slow moving. The writing is very detailed. So there's been a lot of info dumping as far as like the history of things that have happened. I'm sure the pace will pick up a little bit as the book goes on. As of right now, we have met Emmanuel. So in the town of Bethel, there are the people that live like within the community, but then there are people that live like in the outskirts of the community. And it sounds like majority of the people that live in the outskirts are of a different race than the people that live within the heart of the community itself. Well, Emmanuel's mother, she fell in love with somebody from the outskirts, and Emmanuel was conceived from their love affair. She like lives with her grandma and her cousins and a bunch of other people, and she has to take their ram to the markets to try and sell him so they can have enough food for the week. She's not successful in trying to sell the ram, so on the way home, it's like storming really bad and the ram gets loose and runs into the woods, so she has to run after the ram. I think it's good writing. It's just very slow pace. I'm kind of bored, honestly, like especially I think after having just read The Ex Hex and I didn't like it that much. I'm really craving a book that I can get into. So I'm struggling a little bit with this right now. I don't know what I'm gonna do right now. I kind of don't want to read this anymore today. It's been a few days since my last update. It's been a rough week. It's only Wednesday. Actually, pretty much by 10 o'clock Monday morning, I was ready for the weekend. Life has been very crazy lately. Personal life, work, all that fun stuff. I'm on chapter 29. I know I'm more than halfway through. Things did improve. So in the beginning, I wasn't super into the story. I was kind of, I guess, bored a little bit. The writing felt really slow, and the writing still does feel really slow, but some things have happened that have piqued my interest. Something occurred that caused something bad to happen, and now Emmanuel is having to try her best to stop the bad thing from happening. I'm not bored necessarily. Everything is just so detailed, and I mean, it's beautiful writing, don't get me wrong. Everything said so lyrically. It takes too long to describe something happening. I don't know if I care necessarily what the outcome is going to be. Like, I'm not attached to the characters at all, but I am curious. Like, I want to know just so I know how everything ends. As far as like what type of story this is, I think initially I had always heard this referred to as a horror, but on Goodreads and on Storygraph, the primary category is fantasy. Like a dark fantasy would probably be a good way to describe it. Most likely it's going to be a 3-star for me. So I finished The Year of the Witching. It still was just kind of okay for me. I started to like the characters just a little bit more towards the end. I don't know. I feel like I didn't really have that connection and I didn't really fully care. It wasn't really what I was expecting. It was slower and drier. I do like how the story ended. I liked how everything wrapped up. That's really all I have to say about that. Ultimately, I did give it 3 stars. I think if you like dark fantasy and slower stories with a little bit of a literary feel, then this book could be for you. And tonight I did start the last book for this vlog, which is The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. So far, I'm not really enjoying my time. So this one follows 3 sisters. At this point, I don't think they're witches, but like their grandmother was a witch or their grandmother had witchy tendencies. And it's the late 1800s, and I think they're from somewhere else, but in this year, which is 1893, all 3 of them wind up in the same city, New Salem, I think is what they call it. Obviously that's a time where there's not really equality between genders. Women don't have a lot of rights. The suffragist movement is kind of becoming a thing. All the sisters, they've been estranged for a number of years. So the older 2 sisters left the younger sister. So the younger sister was mad at the middle and older sister because of that. And then apparently down the line, the 2 older sisters had a bit of a falling out. We as the reader don't know what happened yet. And there's like this storm that blows in. They kind of recognize that is based in magic. I'm not hooked yet. I'm craving something specific when it comes to a witchy read, and I'm not finding it. If you have any suggestions of like an amazing witchy read that you think I would love, please let me know. I have already read Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I rated that 4 stars. I do have the Alice Hoffman books, but I didn't care for practical magic, so I'm not like super excited to read the rest of them. I'm now over 200 pages into The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. The boys and I are going to go to a little Halloween event tonight, so I'm just getting ready for that. I just got out of the shower. Right now I need to do my makeup. So as far as the book goes, I am liking it better now. I know before I wasn't really feeling it for some reason. And I mean, to be honest, it's still not my favorite. Like, I know it's not going to be a 5-star, not even close, but I am more attached to the story at this point, although I still don't really know what's going on. As far as the characters, I do like the sisters. As far as the younger sister, Juniper, I don't have much of an attachment to her. And I feel like we haven't really spent as much time with Juniper as we have the other 2 sisters. The oldest sister, Bella, or Beatrice Belladonna, I do like her, and I think I relate most to her because she's, you know, she's quieter, she's a librarian, and she actually really kind of reminds me of Evie from The Mummy. So the character played by Rachel Weisz. Evie is quite a bit sassier than what Beatrice is, and so far there is a little bit of not sapphic romance necessarily. We do know that Beatrice prefers women over men. So I really do like Beatrice, and like I said, I think I relate to her the most out of all 3 of them. And then Agnes, she is very sassy. She's like, not even sassy, she's very feisty. Like, that would be a good word for it, is feisty. So I really do enjoy her character. And then, like I said, Juniper, we haven't really gotten to know Juniper that much. What we do know about her is that supposedly prior to her getting to New Salem, she supposedly did something and she is on the run. So there's like wanted posters with her full name and her face, basically saying that she's wanted for murder and for being a witch. So we don't know yet if that's true. And if it is true, we don't know what happened. That's a little bit of a mystery from everybody except for Juniper, us included. As far as the story and kind of like what the women are doing, they have created this society of sisters. Their intent is kind of a little fuzzy to me. I don't really know if they are like suffragists, you know, fighting for women's rights, or if they are just like down with the patriarchy. That I'm not 100% yet. But it's funny, you know, in Practical Magic, the movie, at the very end, when all the women in the town have to band together to save Jilly, those women aren't necessarily witches, but witchery exists. They just have to learn how to harness it and master it. And that's kind of the vibe that I got from this society of sisters that they have put together. Witchery and magic used to be a thing that existed, and it's gone away for a long time, and now they're just trying to bring it back. And overall, I'm enjoying it for the most part. I just did a nose strip after my shower, and every time I do a nose strip, my nose gets so itchy. Like, it just feels like somebody's taking a feather and tickling my nose. Oh, I hate it. I'm scratching all my makeup off. So what we're doing tonight is we're driving up to one of the lighthouses. They have like a jack-o'-lantern lit tour. I don't know if it's of just the lighthouse or if it's like the grounds of the lighthouse. So I will definitely be taking some footage of that for you to see. Oh, I wanted to show you. This came a couple weeks ago, but I just finally washed it. It's my Sleep When I'm Dead book club sweatshirt. Anyways, I'm gonna go try to do something with my hair, so I probably will not be updating until tomorrow. I just got off sprints on Keisha's channel. I don't know if you can hear the rain. It's been raining all day, like storming and raining. It's been beautiful. I'm 300 pages into The Once and Future Witches. I finally know what the book is about now. One of the characters in the book talked about the restoration of magic, and I'm like, light bulb. That's what this book is about. All of these women that are getting together and they're forming the Sisters of Avalon or something like that. They're not doing it because they're witches. They're doing it to restore magic. I mean, from the sounds of it, magic was not completely depleted. It's just maybe a lot of people forgot about it type thing. I mean, obviously there's still witches practicing magic. Oh, I have bad news. I'm getting sick. I can feel it in my throat. Hello, I'm coming to you from my moon pod. As you can hear, I have gotten progressively worse. I still think it's like bronchitis. I get it every fall, every winter, usually multiple times. I finished this book just now, actually, and I'm going to give it 3 stars. Arguably, this is a 4-star book, probably maybe even 5-star. I think the story is very well done. It's very detailed. The writing is really good. I think the characters are well done. I love that there are like fairy tales thrown into this. And I did tandem read it with the audiobook, and the audiobook is amazing. If you have the opportunity, I would definitely recommend either reading it completely on audio or at least reading along with the physical book, because there's music and there's quite a few times there are stories within a story. So somebody kind of goes into story mode and they start telling this fairy tale. And they're common fairy tales too. I'm assuming they're not identical word for word, but there's talk of a story similar to Hansel and Gretel, Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin. The magic in here, I love it. I love the magic system. There's LGBT plus representation. Overall, it is a great book. Why am I only rating it 3 stars? I don't honestly know. I think for me, it never clicked. It took me like well into the book, like about halfway, before I could really even summarize what the book was about. I feel like it shouldn't have taken that long for me to really understand what it was about. Not only that, every time I put the book down, I never was like, ooh, I want to pick it back up and read it. I also felt like it was too long, like the last 200 pages. Was there a lot of action? Yes, there was. I still found myself kind of like, when is this going to end? It makes no sense to me. I'm not taking questions at this time. Like I said, this is definitely a 4 or 5-star book. I would highly recommend it to anybody who's looking for a witchy read. If historical fantasy is your thing, definitely read this book. Even if it's not your thing and you want to read something witchy at any time of year, read this book. Also too, I think I mentioned this before, I did feel a lot of practical magic vibes, the movie, not the book. I really, really liked the concept of familiars in this book. Maybe this concept is widely known. I just feel like the way it was explained in this book, I really liked. If a witch had a familiar, it wasn't literally a bird or a cat or a dog or a wolf. It was like a culmination of magic and energy and everything else that kind of like represented itself as some kind of animal. Maybe I'm crazy and that's how everyone interprets it. I feel like it was explained really well in this book. I guess that's the end of this vlog. I probably could have done like a formal outro, but I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. So yeah, I'm just gonna peace out here. In this vlog, I read The Ex Hex by Erin Sterling, rated that one 2 stars. The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson, I rated that 3 stars. And The Once and Future Witches by Alexi Harrow, and I also rated that 3 stars. Unfortunately, I didn't find any 5-star reads. Thank you so much for watching today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye!